On today's episode, I've got Abdul Basit. He was originally born in Pakistan. He moved here 5 years ago, and he's doing deal after deal after deal after deal. He learned English from playing video games. It's absolutely an incredible story. I am telling you, if Abdul can do this business, so can you. So check this out. My pleasure to introduce the Wholesaling Inc. podcast. Abdul Basit, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm excited. You've got 8 deals closed already this year. We're just outside of we're at about 100 days in, which is absolutely incredible. And so I want to break down what you're doing, but how did you get into real estate?
Oh man, I was working a job that I didn't like, and I was just trying to find ways on how to make it, and came across Jerry Norton, and then he watched a couple of his videos, and I was just mind blown from
Yeah.
there. And from there, I just started digging deeper into it, and I was watching a Jerry Norton video, and my first deal kind of fell into my lap. It was crazy. It was like a sign from the God that I'm meant to do this business, almost.
So what blew your mind about our business? You know what I mean? You said you watched Jerry's video and it blew your mind. What do you mean?
So he had a Watch Me Wholesale show,
Yep.
and I was just the idea of wholesaling and how like someone could get into it without any money, or I shouldn't say any money. Now that I'm into it, I feel like you do need some money,
Sure.
but without any experience, I always thought that to be in real estate, you need to have all this money. You got to come from a rich background. You got to
Yep.
have a wealthy, all of this. And then I watched a couple of his videos. Then I ultimately found you, and then it's all history from there.
I love it. What was the job that you were working before?
So I owned my own gas station with my family, and I was running that for 3 years,
What, like behind
and
the counter?
behind the counter every day. I would wake up at 6 in the morning, open it, and then I would get out at like 10 p.m. at night for 3 years straight, 7 days a week. Just crazy, and it was like, and between that time, I was just looking and like that entrepreneurial brain. I was just trying to figure out how to get out of this rut, you know,
Yep.
and then I ultimately found wholesaling and.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, right, Abdul, that when you look at real estate from outside of talking to the property owners and making offers, you think, wow, you need to have a down payment, you need to be able to pay for inspections, you need to be able to qualify for loans, and or if you really want to go big, you have to raise a ton of money to be able to do big projects and development and all that, and it almost feels like unattainable. And then you find something like wholesaling where you're like, wait a second, this is approachable. I understand that, there's some rundown single-family houses that need some love from investors. If I find that and match it up with an investor, I can get paid doing that. And then all of a sudden the light bulb goes off and you're like, oh my gosh, let's do this. And apparently something fell into your lap. So how did your first deal fall into your lap?
Yeah, so it's crazy, and obviously I didn't had a time working that job. I didn't had time marketing, because I
Right.
would go in there 6 in the morning and get out at 10 p.m. at night. You can cold call somebody 10 p.m. at night. So it was like I was like every day I want to do this, but I just don't have time, and I just can't leave everything because then I gotta pay bills. I have family and this, that, and the third.
Sure.
So the building that I was leasing for my store, the landlord of that building, uh, had a building next door that he had a Boost Mobile storefront in, and he had a restaurant storefront in, and he had an apartment above that he was living in. So I was trying to get to rent the restaurant from him, and I wanted to, because he already had a kitchen set up and everything. So I wanted to put like a chicken shop in there or something like that. And he was like, and I don't know, for some reason he thought I had all this money, right? He was like, I know you guys got money. Why don't you buy the building from me? And right at that time, I was watching Jerry Norton videos. Didn't know knew nothing, but just something clicked. I was like, I might be interested. How much you want for it? And he said 215, and I said 150, and then we just started negotiating from there. I didn't know contracts. I didn't know nothing. I didn't know what I was doing. I was, but I got him down to, I guess, 175, and I left so much money on the table with that one. Like so much money now that I
How?
think about it. Cause I mean, it was like a mixed use property, like, and the Boost Mobile store was on a corporate lease. He was getting $5,000 net every month. There was a apartment above. There was a restaurant storefront, and I only made $10,000 on that first deal. But
Only.
I got the proof of concept and everything. So
That's right. Yeah,
yeah,
only $10,000. I mean, I think that 99% of people never get a five-figure check, and you get it at
that was
whatever,
my first
22
five
years
figure
old.
check. That was my first five-figure check, so it was everything to me. It was like hitting the lottery almost.
Yeah, but listen, bigger than that, and you mentioned it. It's the proof of concept, right?
Mm-hmm.
You cross the bridge from faith to fact, and faith is great. Faith gets us going. Faith gets us building momentum. But once we know that we can do it, and we can do it over and over and over again, that's when the confidence really gets built. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why we do this podcast. That's why we do the YouTube channel. That's why we do everything to help people, to get to that across that bridge to fact and be able to build something special. Because, I mean, as well as I do, Abdul, this business it can give you everything. This business
Oh
can
yeah.
open up so many doors and so many opportunities. And if you can really build the skill of finding really great real estate opportunities, you're financially set. You're financially
Yeah.
set. It's a skill that you can do for develop and keep for years and years and years to come,
Mm-hmm.
which is really exciting. So, what did your family think? I mean, they got you working in the shop. They got you
Yeah.
working. They got you working. 6 to 10. What are they doing?
I mean, they don't have me working. It was just me doing it by myself. Cause like
Right.
the wholesaling is not my first venture. Like I've been trying to make it ever since I landed into the States. I
Yeah.
tried Shopify. I tried drop shipping, and tried smoke shops. I become a licensed insurance agent, trying to sell life insurance to people. Like I've been trying to do it, but thank God I found wholesaling at the end. But I'm originally from Pakistan, so my mom is like they have this. They don't understand business, or they don't see the world same as I do, I guess.
Got
They
it.
still come from a place of love. So when I first started, and my mom would see me making calls, and she would hear me get cussed out, and she would see me cold calling, and for hours and hours and hours. One day she pulled me to the side, be like, hey, I really, please get a degree of some sort, because I never wanted to go to college.
Yeah.
But being a typical mom, she wanted me to go to college, do this and that and the third. And I was like, it's gonna come. Because even though that first deal came easy, after that it was a long 12 months. I didn't get a deal, and I was calling every day. I was cold calling, I was doing everything under the sun.
Yeah.
So,
Where'd you get your drive from?
from my mom, really.
Really?
My mom's been a hustler all her life. Like she's been a business owner herself, you know. So
Yeah.
I think I really get it from her.
So what? Just growing up, she's like, you can do everything, you can achieve great goals. You're amazing, Abdul. You're the best. Like all of that.
That too, and just she's like a machine. Like she only needs 2 hours of sleep, and I would see her like work, and she had her own catering business while we were living in Pakistan. She had her own event management company. Then she became a, I don't know, she did everything just to,
Yeah.
give us the best life possible, you know. So that I think that's really where it comes from.
So just the example.
Just the example itself, yeah.
And what does she think about your real estate business now? I mean, she wanted you to go back and get a degree. She knows. I mean, she's out there hustling. Is it one of those things that, like, hey, I'm going to hustle so that you can get an education so that you don't have to hustle as much type of thing?
Well, that was when she saw me going through the rut. She saw me
Right.
calling and not having a check for like 9 months, 12 months,
Yeah.
and now it's a different story. Now it's like you go and you know you're doing great after I show her some of these checks and she's like, okay, I get it.
So during those 9 months, what did you do to keep your mindset strong? Because I get it. I understand. You go for a certain amount of time, all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, nothing is working. Can I do this? I feel like I'm so far away from the goal that I want to achieve. How do you keep your mindset strong? Because there's a lot of people listening to this that have made some calls that are going through that. They're in that hustle season. They're laying down the tracks. They're planting the seeds. Whatever analogy you want to hear, they're going through it right now, and it just doesn't feel like it's doing anything. So how do you keep your mindset strong and focused to keep going?
I'm not gonna lie. There were like some days where I was like, because I was really throwing money into marketing. And that first check it came, but I did everything wrong. Like I blew all it away. In trying to get a website, trying to do this, that, and then didn't get a deal for the longest. But I guess what kept me going was this podcast, really. You know, I would see people come onto this podcast, and hopefully I could be the same person for somebody out there. They would share their story and how they went from really rags to riches with
Yeah.
this business. So this podcast really got get me going, and then I didn't forget my why I'm doing this, and then faith, accept faith, and all of those stuff. There's not a lot of people you could talk to about this, and not a lot of people who are gonna be, they're gonna be like, just go get a job. Like, what
Yeah.
are you know?
Yeah,
But
I had that
yeah,
conversation with my dad plenty of times. He's like, "What are you
yeah.
doing in real estate? Like this is beating you up, especially during the 2008 to 2011 run." But make it through. You make it through.
hmm
And for anybody that's going through it, just keep going forward. Keep
Yeah,
having
one thing I would say,
conversations and making offers.
I didn't quit. That I'm just so glad that I didn't quit, because if I would have quit back then, I wouldn't have seen the fruits that I'm seeing now, and I'm only going up. So
Oh
yeah.
yeah, you're doing incredible things. I mean, it's amazing. So talk to me about your business. What are you doing to generate leads?
So it's only me and a caller right now,
Okay.
and I have this thing pretty lean right now, where it's cold calling, and I'm a big I guess a cheerleader for good data and good quality lists. So
Yes.
I'm pulling niche lists from my county, directly from the county, that is code violations, water shutoffs, pre-foreclosures, and I'm gonna incorporate some probates. But I found that the foreclosures in my market are such an underserved niche
Yeah.
that not a lot of people are doing it effectively. Like, I had a conversation with a pre-foreclosure seller, and she literally said, "Where were you 6 months ago? I don't want to sell my house anymore." So that time I knew, like, So this is what I'm doing, and my VA, my caller, cold calls these people. She pushes it into my CRM once she gets them qualified, and then I get them on the phone and I close them.
Awesome. So, are you making any of the outbound calls initially, or is it just your caller?
So I have my caller call some of the broader lists like the code violations and water shut off and absentee owner. But the pre foreclosures, I call them myself.
Awesome. Why
Yep.
those?
Just because it's more sensitive, callers overseas they lack that critical thinking element, and you gotta have a deeper conversation with those people to really dig in and get that out of here, get the motivation out of them. So
Sure.
I try to do those myself.
Awesome. And so, what does your schedule look like on a daily basis?
On a daily basis, I just wake up and I log into the VO, and it's just game time from then. There isn't really any schedule. It's like I'm working 24/7. If I can make calls, I'm working admin. I'm doing admin level stuff. I'm watching podcasts, and yeah,
Awesome. And so, you're just waking up and generating leads,
yeah.
going
I'm
on
just waking
appointments,
up.
and selling them.
Yeah, and I rarely go on appointments. Like everything I do, even with being in my backyard market, I try to be virtual because I don't know if it's just a me thing, but I feel like people would judge me, and I do a lot better over the phone. Because every time I try to go on appointment, it's just said, I've got a contract every time I went on an appointment, but it's just like but
Well,
I
maybe
just
go on
end
more appointments. I don't. I
yeah.
think it is a you thing. I think people like you. They're doing business with you.
Yeah, but almost messed up a lot on going on appointments. I just, I just do better over the phone, and yeah, I just like, and it's just like faster, scalable. I like doing it over the phone.
So let me ask you about that. So you've got a lead. They say they want to sell their property. How do you make an offer over the phone? How do you know the condition of the property? How do you know what you should offer on it? Like, what's your process for that?
So I run them through a process. It's sort of like similar five-step sale process where I talk to them. I tell them a little bit about me, my company, and what we do. Like, hey, we specialize in fix and flip and long-term rentals for our portfolio. And what I want to do is kind of get you qualified on this phone call to see if you would be a good fit to be added to our portfolio. If your property would be a good fit to be added to our portfolio, and from that point is just talking to them, figuring out what their timeline is, what the motivation is, and then kind of just going through a pitch with them about the condition of their property, asking very specific questions, and then just making them an offer based off of those questions and the answer to those questions.
Awesome. And how long of a process typically is this?
So I try to I try to stretch my calls at least to an hour because this is a KPI that I've tracked because it's a what I've found, like anything, if I'm not spending too much time with them, oftentimes when I'm on a call, I want to get a signed contract at the end of that call, and that gets easier if I'm spending an hour with them on the phone.
Yeah.
So I try to stretch that conversation as much as I can. I try to dig deep as much as I can. And then obviously you can't do that with every person, different personality types.
Sure.
And but I try to stretch that out to an hour, and I try to, send them a actual offer, like not a range, not anything, like an actual offer. And then once I hit them with that number, I pause for a little while, and then I just assume the close and I send them a DocuSign, and I go over the contract with them. Try to go for the close
On that same call.
on that same call.
Yeah, we found Abdul the same thing. I mean, you got to be on for at least an hour. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? At least an hour. There has to be a significant discovery phase, and this is where I
Mm-hmm.
think a lot of people lack. They stay real specific about the property, and they don't get into the person. Right?
Mm-hmm.
80% of discovery is about the person. 20% is about the property. 20%, 80% is their situation. The other 20 is what's the condition, what needs to be done to the house, what is your expectations for the price, that type of thing. But most of it's just finding out, why are they selling this property, what's going on in their lives, how long
Mm-hmm.
have they owned it, why did they originally buy it, what's going on in that neighborhood, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And then the longer that people talk to you, the more they open up. And the more they
Yep.
open up, you can get the true story. And then you don't know if you can serve somebody unless you know that what's going on, unless they
Right.
open up and tell you what is the problem that they're looking to solve. And does a cash as is offer do that? Or maybe they should list it with an agent. Maybe they should consider doing, being the bank on it and doing some creative financing. Maybe they should have somebody help them out with some repairs and do an ovation. It just depends, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what you're really pulling out is, is a cash as is offer the right thing to offer this property owner, or something else better for them? And if it is, perfect. And that's the whole point. And I think I'll go back to it, Abdul, with what you were saying is good data and good lists are so critical, because that's going to be really important to show, okay, these properties need significant investment, which means that they need to be bought cash, which means that they typically need to be bought as is, because the seller doesn't have the ability to invest money into fixing it up and selling it for full retail
Yep.
value. So really that discovery process is so critical. And we're finding, Abdul, that we're locking up more deals on the phone than we ever have before, because
Right.
we really slowed down and we didn't rush the process, and we really want to stay on the phone as long as possible and really discover how we can serve them and how we can help them out. And it's been huge. So
Yep.
that's awesome. So,
Game
well,
changer.
let's talk about it. You closed 8 deals this year so far. Do you have a favorite deal you want to break down so we can ring this victory bell?
Yeah. Yeah. Let's do it. I have a one that I did last year, and it had a lot of moving parts, so I want to share that one.
Let's go.
Because it originally started as a cash deal. It
Mm-hmm.
came from another wholesaler, and that wholesaler didn't had it locked up. So I had it locked up, and I tried dispoing it to a big disposition company. And what happened that we had a buyer, but there was a $14,000 water lien that came up, and it just killed the deal altogether.
Yeah.
So, we move. I moved on from that deal. 6 months later, I ended up seeing that property on auction.com. So I called the seller and was like, "Hey, would you still like to sell?" Because I was like, I was gonna do a sub two on it, but she was so much behind in arrears, and the property needed so much in renovation that it just didn't even make sense subject to, you
Right.
know.
Right.
So I called. I think I found Nicole Espinosa, the short sale queen,
Sure.
and it was through one of your podcasts that I found her. So
Yeah.
I submitted a lead. Someone from her team reached out to me, and we did a short sale on it. And the balance was 120,000 on it. So we submitted it for a short sale, and we got the bank down to 44,000.
Mm. Awesome.
Now with the 44,000, I was like, okay, I got it down such a good price. I'm gonna double close on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I got it under contract at 44,000, but I was gonna have to pay her processing fee, which was 7 grand, 8 grand, and the water lien. that's on it. And I wasn't going to pay it, but because I was going to wholesale it. Well, and I had a buyer who was going to pay 80,000. Come to find out, there's with short sales, there's a deed restriction
Yep.
a week before, so I can't wholesale it, and I cannot close on it and resell it for the next 90 days.
Right.
But the spread on this property was so huge. The ARV is 450,000 easy.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm like, I have it for 44, even if I pay off the water lien and if I pay off her processing fee, I only got to hold on to this property for 90 days. I could easily put it on the market and could make more than 80, could sell it for more than 80,000.
Mm-hmm.
But I found a hard money lender. He was gonna cover 100% of the purchase, but I had to prepay him his interest for the 90 days.
Yep.
So a week before, I'm scrambling for his interest, how I'm gonna come up with that money to pay him that prepayment of his interest, and then he wasn't gonna cover the $7,500 processing fee, and he wasn't gonna cover the water lien either. So I'm pulling out Amex cards and credit cards, and I'm going to my friends who own jewelry shops and be like, just swipe this card and just give me 5 grand. I'm going to this other shop, just swipe this card, give me 5 grand. And then I borrowed 14 grand for someone else, and that's how I came up with the money where he funded the purchase, and I took care of the processing fee and all that. Closed on it, and I could have easily put it out for more on the market, but since I'm an agent, I I I don't remember what I listed it for, but I listed it for about 129, 130 or something.
Yeah.
But and I ended up getting an offer on it the next day, sight unseen, as is, full price offer. So I accepted it, and I was just so nervous. I was like, please, God, let me get an offer on it. It was my first time I took something down, you
Yeah.
know, and this is only my third or fourth deal, so I don't have a lot of experience either. But I took the risk and I just took it down because it was a no-brainer. And then I sold it and I made $38,000 on it after all
Absolutely.
said and done.
What a whirlwind, man. I'm telling you, short sales take a long time, and that's a whole elaborate process. Closing on it, finding the funds, prepaying the interest, and netting how much?
$38,000.
Come on. How did that feel hitting the account?
Yeah, it didn't feel real for the longest. It's the most money I ever seen.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible. I mean, listen, you're 25 years old. You've done a bunch of deals. You're on your way to do thousands of deals. You had an insurance license, a real estate license. You ran what was it, a gas station or a convenience store? The
Yeah.
whole, doing all that. You're working commercial deals. You're working residential deals. I mean, nothing can stop you, bro. Nothing's going to
Yeah.
stop you. I love it. I absolutely love it. I mean, what a force you are. I mean, to see you,
Thank you.
10 years from now, it's going to be absolutely banana. I mean, by the time you're 30, it's going to be, I mean, you're going to be one of those millionaire before 30 type guys. You know what I mean? Absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. I love it. I mean, what a story. I mean, guys, you have to understand, Abdul learned American English from GTA, from Grand Theft Auto, playing video games. You know what I mean? And then coming to the States here 5 years ago, you don't know the culture, you don't know all the things going on. You're in Pittsburgh, and you're doing deals, right? Like, you're such a wonderful example. Everybody out there that has lived in this country their whole life and is nervous about making your first calls, like use this to boost you. Like do it today. Go talk to somebody that owns a distressed property and see if you can solve their problems. Like use this as your tailwind that's just going to push you forward, right? Put the wind in your sails and just go. Just go. Just take this as inspiration. I mean, I'm pumped up right now. I mean, I'm on fire. I mean, I love this. I love your whole story. It's absolutely incredible. I mean, why did you move here? I mean, what's the story there?
I mean, if you would ask for anybody in Pakistan if they would want to come to US, the answer would be yes. It's just like, this is the greatest country in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even close. I don't know anybody who wouldn't want to be here.
Yeah.
And it's just in seek of a better life, really. It wasn't like we were in shambles in Pakistan, but we were just, there just wasn't any future.
Yeah.
So,
So you guys just made the decision and went through the process.
yeah, we knew that ultimately we were gonna get our immigration done at some point because my dad's brother, he had applied for us like 13, 14 years ago,
Awesome.
and it only came when I turned 18, so it was like the perfect time. And we just packed our bags and moved in here with zero, not, we didn't really had any actual money when we got here. We were really we were really staying at a family member's basement, like the four of us, my dad, my mom, my sister, and me, and then we just started hustling from there, and then,
Mm-hmm.
now we're here.
I love it, and our country's better for it. So
Yeah.
I'm so glad you're here, and I'm so glad you're sharing your story. That's absolutely awesome. So first of all, how can people get a hold of you? People that are in Pittsburgh, people that are in Pennsylvania, they want to squat up. People that are just hearing this from anywhere around the world, and they want to reach out and just connect with you and say congratulations. How can people connect?
Sure, you could call me at 412-430-1877. It's my
Say it
direct
again.
line. 412-430-1877.
You're wild. You're gonna get blown up. That's absolutely incredible, guys. That's his phone number. I mean, this isn't DM me type of thing. This is a direct contact. I mean, absolutely incredible. Speak to people that are just getting started, or maybe they're going through a little bit of a slump right now. What advice would you give them?
Yeah, I would say don't quit. Just keep in mind what your why is, and a flow of leads would solve 90% of your problems in this business, or at least that's what I've figured after I've started consistently marketing.
Yep.
Because when I wasn't really having actual success or doing deals, it was because I wasn't really consistently marketing. So don't be afraid of spending a little bit money. Like in every business, you're gonna have to, most of the businesses you would ever do, you would have to start with at least $10,000
Yep.
and maybe more.
Yeah. Sure.
So don't cheap away from spending money in lists, in a dialer, and really taking this as a business, and just go all in. And that's really
Awesome.
it.
Perfect. Thanks for being
Yep.
on the podcast, Abdul.
Yep. Thank you for having me.
Let's get some massive deals this year, huh?
Absolutely.
Let's do it. I love it. That is incredible. What a story, guys. And listen, when you're getting started in this business, there's four factors to really think about, right? It's your market, where you live, right? Or where you're going to be going after your opportunities. It's your budget. It's your schedule, right? And it's your experience level. And all four of those things are going to be unique for you. And if you're looking for a custom blueprint to be able to really take action, and the right action as soon as possible, go to wholesalinginc.com and apply for the Rhino Tribe. We'd love to have a conversation with you and put together that blueprint so that you're not just spinning your wheels year after year after year, and you get to action and get to these deals as quick as possible. And that's it. My name is Brent Daniels, Mr. TTP, Mr. Talk to People, and I encourage you to go out there and talk to people. I love you guys. I'll talk to you next time.